Well, good morning, everybody. It's nice to see y'all again. Still, still alive. I know it's been a couple of years. Um, it's been a long journey, but here I am, and been very busy. And this project, which I call 365 Revolutions, is a year-long endeavor, a live stream every day with some videos in between where we're going to talk about what I've written um, called manufactured suffering. And the idea is, as you can see on the screen, is it's a systemic creation and perpetuation of unnecessary hardships and inequality, orchestrated as an expression of power and control over the masses by those in authority. And if you, there should be a link in the description. If you go to my Substack um, website, it's there free charge. There's no subscription fee necessary. It's a pretty lengthy essay where we talk about how um, manufactured suffering affects housing, healthcare, voting, education, and justice. And the idea over the course of the year is to get you familiar with the term, to talk about solutions and policies that we can um, implement so that we can make a better future for ourselves. Because part of, I believe, what is really going on in the world right now, especially in America, is that we have a neoliberal boomer class, and they have been in control for the last 30, 35 years, and they've racked up an enormous amount of debt and for future generations to pay for. And are going to be exiting stage left here in the next 5 years, and they've left us with no plan. And the systems have been created so the poor stay poor and the rich get richer. And I don't think I'm saying anything new or revolutionary here. And that's that's pretty much the goal of this. What this endeavor will not be is that I'm not going to be reading tweets or reacting to news. It's going to be a complete kind of get to know me. And I hope that you will allow me a seat at the table with these ideas. And we'll just go from there. So this is my first one in a while, so I'm probably a little bit rusty, but I hope that all the volume and everything is okay for you guys. And um, I hope you stay tuned and ask me questions on the chat, and we'll go from there. Let me go ahead and switch this up here. All right. Now, this is the actual essay that I've written. Once again, it's on my Substack page. You are more than welcome to go there and read it for yourself. It is, again, pretty lengthy, and it is, I'm very proud of it, and I hope you'll check it out. There's also many other um, essays I've written, and I hope you'll check those out as well. And we'll go over those in the future. This is just day one, and I just want to get you really familiar with the concept of what manufactured suffering is. Oh, and if you hear some stuff in the background, I'm in a small room with a couple of puppy dogs and got my heater going, so it's kind of cold here in Atlanta. And again, I apologize for any background noise that you guys hear. Um, as you can see on the screen, as I read out to you earlier, it is the concept is the people in power that control all the levers of our society have made it so that the poor have to endure unnecessary hardships so that they can stay in control. Because part of my point in this essay is that there is so much abundance and created from capitalism in conjunction with new technology that there's so much excess that they have to control the system because the people in power can't have is 8 billion well-educated creative thinkers running around because we as a group are not going to concede authority to them any longer. If we were all independent thinkers, if we all had a home to live in that couldn't be taken away, if food and healthcare was abundant and inexpensive, then many of us, I believe, would make many different choices than we currently are making. And part of in this essay here are detailed plans on what we can do to make our future better. Because let's face it, we're going to be in the 22nd century before we know it, and we are going to be in charge. And it is very frightening to me that the people that have been calling the shots for the last 35, 40 years, they really have screwed us royally. And we have to, if they don't pass the baton, we're going to have to take the baton. And when we take the baton, we need a plan in place on what to do. And so this is what this journey is going to be about. And, we're going to talk about a bunch of things. You will notice in my title that I call myself a Christian American nationalist, and that's probably going to trigger a lot of people. And I want to make it very clear that it is not white nationalism. It's completely different. And we'll go over that in an upcoming live stream, or maybe we'll touch on that today. I'm kind of just winging it on my first one just to make sure that I'm getting back in the saddle, so to speak. Also, if you're interested in my Substack page or my Substack website, um, I will have for a subscriber fee updates on my personal life. We're going to kind of outline an upcoming biography I'm working on called Without a Front. And if you're interested and would like to subscribe to that, that is going to be behind a paywall, but that's my life. It's my own personal experience. And I figure I can charge for that. But the ideas that I'm coming up with really are for the world and they're for you. And they're to make our life better. And they will always be free. They'll always be on there. Anybody can look at them and take them and pull them apart and nitpick them. And please help me make them better. But they're very well thought out. And it's an interesting read. And we're going to go over each and every one of them over the course of this next year. So, that being said, I don't see anybody on the chat, and it's this is going to be a a slow rolling um, endeavor. So I hope that it'll be like a little snowball rolling down a hill, and it'll gather momentum um, as we continue. So that being said, um, Um, I don't have really nobody's going to ask me any questions right now because nobody's watching. um, let's see here. Um, the one thing that I did want to touch on is this, that just like in my previous live streams from many years ago, um, that if you have any kind of prayer request, put them in the chat or send me an email. All my information is available on all sorts of different platforms. I'd be more than happy to pray for you and pray with you. Um, and it'd be my privilege and pleasure to do that for you. Um, so, um, as we continue this, one of the things that I use as a parable about manufactured suffering is I ask the question, why does an orange cost more than a candy bar? And I want to focus on that question for for just a bit. Um, it's a simple question, but it is. I think it really highlights the the crux of manufactured suffering. Now, in this parable, the orange is the good, and the candy bar is the bad. And if the good is more expensive than the bad, that is a reflection of manufactured suffering, and it's on purpose. An orange doesn't cost that much by accident. And let's talk about the candy bar. Okay. When you buy candy bar, what do you get? Well, you get a wrapper that doesn't biodegrade. You are eating a product that consists of chocolate, which is subsidized, and some chocolate exploits child labor, um, sugar, which is subsidized, nuts, peanuts, some candy bars have them, which are subsidized, and all of these things in the candy bar are bad for you, especially when they're combined. And so you're left with a wrapper that doesn't biodegrade. You're consuming a product that will make you ill, overweight, diabetes, and everything in it is subsidized so that the price is lower than the alternative. In our example, the alternative is the orange. Now, when you buy an orange, what do you get? Well, the wrapper, right, which is the skin, which is completely biodegradable. You're getting vitamins, a little bit of sugar. It's good for you, gives you energy. Vitamin C makes you well, keeps you from getting sick. And you're left with a handful of seeds, which you can then pop in the ground and get more oranges for free. Now, in this example, manufactured suffering makes it so that the good is marketed in a bad way. And the price of it is once again, one orange costs as much, if not more, than a candy bar. And that's ridiculous. And so we're going to take that example of why an orange costs more than a candy bar, and we're going to apply that to housing and healthcare and education and justice and voting. And we're going to examine why the good in those sectors are more expensive than the bad. And I'm really looking forward to that discussion. The little piece of art I did, but it's really kind of eye-opening when you think about how much of our society is structured in this way, from public transportation to housing and and everything else. And so, and uh, and I'm not. This is not a reaction, but we have the fires going on in California, and there's a lot of discussion about the water and development, and all of that is on purpose, all of it. And we have allowed our government and our society to be completely focused on profit instead of value. And that is orange and the candy bar. The candy bar is profit and the orange is value. And we don't talk enough about the value of what we're doing as a society and what it is doing to each and every one of us. And it really it makes me sad that we've been deceived into thinking that those that are pulling the levers have our best interests. They don't. And many of them, even the when you look at the last election with Biden and Trump, they're both in their mid 70s and they're surrounded by this industry of people who at most are going to be here for another 20 years. And they're going to make decisions and affect policies that they're not going to have to suffer through. And even with Biden pardoning his son, this group of people that are making these decisions are not, their children are going to be protected. They're going to be in a gated community. They're going to be able to afford food and gasoline, and they are not going to suffer. Those of us on the margins, we are the ones that are going to have to pay the price. And the future is really, it's up for grabs. I think we're on the edge of a knife. And we have to make a decision that if we're going to pretend that we're going to elect people to go into power, then we need to make sure that we're electing people that are like us. And when I say like us, I mean poor people. Everybody in Washington, everybody in state government, all these people are wealthy and well-to-do, and they're going to protect their own. They are not going to look out for you and me because, I mean, why would they? Um, we're the ones that are digging the ditches and serving the food and washing cars and mowing the yards, and they need that. They are not going to do it themselves, and we're creating nothing but profit for these people and no value for ourselves. So I hope as we get into the nuts and bolts of this that you will enjoy um, and take to heart some of these ideas because I think that they are actually very good and will quite possibly change the dynamic of our society. And one of the things that I am hoping that that you will come to understand, and this is kind of a side note here, um, is that you and I are not, it's not us versus the 1%. Okay, the 1% and the people in power those are the mid-level managers. They're the ones that are paid to take the heat. And you and I are fighting against cosmic forces. And by that I mean mammon or evil. And to my brothers and sisters out there that are atheists or don't believe in anything beyond, that don't believe in anything supernatural, I want to challenge you, and I hope that this will illuminate some things for you. That when you go out of your house at night and you look up into the heavens and you see a countless amount of stars, space, and energy, do you really think that in the entire cosmos and the entire multiverse that there is nothing above man? Because if you do, and I'm going to talk to you, the person that doesn't believe in the supernatural, that doesn't believe in anything alien, that you believe that humanity is on this little mud ball in the middle of nowhere, and that's it. If that's what you believe, then I hope that you also acknowledge the fact that that means that humans are a priceless commodity. Whether we're the first or the last or the only, if right now at this moment in time, we're the only conscious life form in the universe, then we have to ensure that every human being on this planet is well fed, housed, has health care, and a good education. Because it's a priceless resource. And if you believe that we are the only life form, conscious life form in the universe, then what does that say if you step over a homeless person? What does that say if you don't pay your workers a living wage? What does it say when you execute people? You can't put a price on it. And at a certain point, we as a species are going to have to determine for ourselves the value of each human being. Now, again, this is to the people in the world that believe that humanity is the only conscious life form in the universe. And I hope you'll ponder that. And it's more, in my opinion, it's more inexcusable to have that ethics or that philosophy of the universe and humanity's place in it, and then to believe that we should drop bombs on one another and starve one another and be mean to one another. Because I just don't, I hope somebody can explain that to me, because I just don't understand how you could believe that and continue these actions. But again, the policies and procedures that I have outlined that we'll discuss over the course of this next year will create value, and hopefully end manufactured suffering for the humanity, for the precious gift that humans are. Now, as you know, in the subtitle, as I have said, I'm a Christian American nationalist, and Christianity is very important to me. It is the foundation of my ethics, and it has kind of guided me to understand that the manufactured suffering that is occurring in the world, I believe, is coming from conscious life that is far more advanced than we are. And it thrives on suffering. It enjoys it for whatever reason. Perhaps it's a weapon of mass destruction used by beings greater than us. And my faith and my logic and my philosophy is that the singularity, which I call God, which created the universe, created the multiverse. It created all the ideas. It created chairness. It created the idea of physics. It created chemistry. It worked all that out in advance and brought it all forth into this material plane. And here we are. And what I'm trying to express in this roundabout fashion is that we are really not, it's my belief that we're really not fighting against one another. We're fighting against a force. Some people call it mammon. And I think if we can all acknowledge that, if you want to view it and from a scientific perspective, that mammon is like gravity, or and it needs to be countered. And all the technology that's been created recently is being used by this force to divide us and to deceive us. And we have to come together in places not behind a camera. And whether it's in community buildings or churches or stadiums, and we have to be able to have conversations with one another in real time, in real life, to understand what our brothers and sisters are truly thinking. And I hope that we can all acknowledge that many of us, when we go out into the world, we have been programmed or brainwashed by the things that we see on social media, and we carry that out into the world with us. And when you read the comments, or you scroll through the social media platforms and you see things that either you agree or disagree with, I mean, don't you ever wonder if that's a real person that's putting that there for you to see? And do you think that when you read or see comments on social media, do you honestly think that you're seeing the same comments I am? Like you could take YouTube, for example, because that's the platform we're on. you'll see the video, and that's square. And then everything else on the side, the upcoming videos and the chat down below. You, I've often wondered, I mean, are you seeing the same thing I am? And, there is so much technology available that it could be really tailor made just for you to keep you believing the lie. And I, I'm hoping over the course of this year that we can see through the deception because we are all being lied to. And the only way to beat the deception is to become a light on the hill, city on the hill. You don't become a light and put it under a lamp, under a bushel. And I really hope that and pray every day that my message will resonate with you and will maybe spark an idea in you and help you help yourself. I sometimes call this, you know, home economics for the soul or the spirit, and that, we're not taught as human beings how to take care of ourselves, how to be good parents. If there's no safety net to catch the those of us who don't learn these things in the family. And, it's anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of these things upcoming over the next year. And again, I'm sorry, I'm a little scattered. This is, my first live stream in a while and kind of just getting back in the swing of things. So I appreciate your patience. Um, so, anyway, I just realized there's a misspelling in that. I need to fix that for next time. But again, the concept of manufactured suffering is that when you are struggling with your life, whether you're not making enough money, it's hard to get around, transportation, why is voting so inconvenient? Why are we paying? Why are students having to pay institutions to learn? Just everything is backwards, and good becomes evil and evil becomes good. And we don't have to live this way. We can make society the way we want it. We don't have to become what society wants us to be. And right now we live in a capitalist society that's just teaches that you just extract as much profit for yourself. You get what you can get, and your neighbor gets screwed. And that's not the way this is supposed to work. And I hope that in the future, these words will resonate with you, and hopefully we can all change things for the better. So, that being said, this is, I think, a good first start, and I'm going to probably come back this afternoon, and I'm going to go over, I'm going to talk about what a Christian American nationalist is, because I feel like that's an important topic, because that's a trigger, and I want to make sure that I explain it properly, and there's plenty of things on my Substack page and on my community tab on my YouTube page about what it is. You can read it for yourself. I'll post it everywhere on LinkedIn, and I hope you'll take the opportunity to. There's a great line in Downton Abbey. where the Dowager says, if you want to understand anything, you'll have to come from behind your prejudice. And that's what social media has been doing to all of us. It's been reinforcing our prejudice, turning us all into bigots. And I hope that we can move beyond that. And I just want you to know that I love you and God loves you, and we're both rooting for you. And as you go through your day, know that there's somebody out there rooting for you. And no matter what happens to me, I'm going to go down swinging. And I'm going to put all these ideas out there. And I hope that one day, if not in my lifetime, somebody will pick these up and carry them forward, because that's what we do, right? You just got to keep moving forward. So just know that I love you, and that I'm praying for you, and that I hope that we can all come together and make the world what we want it to be. And on that note, I do want to just make a special thank you um, to God for keeping me safe and giving me all these ideas and blessing me for what I have. And He's working through a good friend of mine, and this is the second person I wanted to thank, is my brother Daniel, who I wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for him. And brother, if you do see this, I just want you to know how much I love you and how grateful I am to you for everything you've done for me and continue to do. You're my brother in Christ, and I couldn't be more thankful. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And on that note, I hope to be back this afternoon, and I'm going to tweak some things and make sure everything's running smoothly. And we will talk about Christian American nationalists and a little bit more about manufactured suffering. I'm always going to touch on that in every live stream, and we'll go from there. And this is going to be kind of like a journey without borders, without boundaries. And there's no script, there's no plan other than to go through all these ideas and hopefully spark a debate. And if you are watching this, I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel. Um, I do have a Patreon page. I hope I don't ever come across as a grifter. But I would like to be able to do this full time and make just a little bit of change so I can take care of myself doing this, because this is very important to me, and I think it's important for the world. So once again, know I love you. You know that God and I are rooting for you, and we wish you the very best. And I will hopefully see you all this afternoon. And take care. I love the Lord. I love the Lord. He's my friend beyond the end. I love the Lord. He's